I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade with your daily tropical weather update. Guess what? We are less than 24 hours away from the kickoff of the 2023 hurricane season. I don't know if that makes you a little fearful, makes you excited, but regardless of how you feel, just make sure that you are prepared, because we all know that these systems can pop up quickly and they can do a lot of damage potentially. Nothing threatening us at this point, but as we go through the season, of course, we will be giving you updates on exactly what's happening across the tropics daily. At this point, nothing impacting the Texas area, or that is expected to head towards us, so that is good news. But we do have a system we are monitoring in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So I do want to start off with this system. Now, yesterday it was just a very disorganized area of showers and storms, but today the National Hurricane Center is indicating that we do have an actual area of low pressure, a weak one, but an area of low pressure that is forming out there. And if it gets stronger, we can't rule out it becoming a tropical depression or maybe even a tropical storm. Of course, the name would be Arlene. That would be the first name on the list for this season. It looks like the atmosphere is not going to be extremely conducive for some rapid development, but there could be a little bit of slow development. But regardless of whether this develops into a tropical depression or a tropical storm or nothing at all, it's still going to spread some waves of heavy rain to a big chunk of the Florida Peninsula. And we're also talking about the threat for some gusty winds and some dangerous rip currents as well. Let's talk about the chance of this developing. At this point, we only have about a 20% shot for this system to become a tropical cyclone over the next 2 days and a 20% shot to develop over the next 7 days. Now, yesterday, the chance for development over the next 2 days or the next 48 hours was only 10%. So we've doubled that, but of course, 20% is still fairly low. So we are not looking for an extremely high chance. We do have fairly warm waters in the low 80s across portions of the eastern Gulf. So we do have the warm water, but as far as other conditions in the atmosphere, it's not going to be extremely conducive, as I mentioned, for any rapid development. However, we are going to monitor for that development. If we do get it, of course, the hurricane hunters are expected to fly into this system that could become a potential tropical cyclone tomorrow. So they're going to do several passes through it. They're going to slice through it. They're going to take a lot of measurements, and they're going to try to help to fine tune that forecast. And they're going to determine where that center of circulation area is in this system. And they're also going to take a lot of other measurements so that we can help to fine tune that forecast and let you know exactly what's going on with this system. But as I mentioned, regardless of whether it develops into a depression or a storm or a hurricane, it is still going to spread a lot of rain to Florida. So maybe you had a business trip or a little mini vacation plan in Florida over the next few days. Make sure you're prepared for a lot of rain. It's not really going to be the sunshine state too much over the next 2 to 3 days. You can already see those outer rain bands starting to push into parts of Tampa, Miami, a flood watch down there already. This is until 8 p.m. Friday. This includes Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Pembroke Pines. So not the best day to be out at the beach. Of course, in Florida this time of the year, you can get those showers and storms quickly pop up during the afternoon and evening and dump a lot of heavy rain and produce some lightning. But this is from that system that could become a tropical depression or a tropical storm. So already getting those bands of heavy rain, and that will continue over the coming days. In fact, the excessive rainfall outlook showing that higher risk across central and southern portions of the Florida Peninsula for the very heavy rain. This is for the rest of Wednesday, and you can see the highest risk for that flooding will be down towards Fort Lauderdale and Miami. That's where we have that yellow area. That's the 15% scattered chance for that excessive rain that could lead to some flooding issues. As we go into Thursday and Friday, it's not going to be an extremely high flood risk, at least at this point, from Tampa, Fort Myers down to Miami, but it will be an elevated flood risk. So that is going to be the trouble spot out in the tropics at this point. Sea surface temperatures, when they get to the 80s, of course, really help these systems to rapidly develop. And we do have a buoy in the eastern Gulf showing a temp around 83 degrees. So we will be monitoring conditions closely. We'll wait and see what the hurricane hunters say as they fly into this developing area of low pressure for tomorrow. But at this point, just expecting slow development. We do have conditions that may allow a little bit of additional development, but The chance of this becoming Tropical Storm Arlene or Hurricane Arlene at this point appears to be on the low side. But of course, if we did get a name, that would be the first one on the list, followed by Brett, Cindy, Don, Emily, Franklin, and Gert. Of course, I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to mention it again. We do have 4 new names on this year's list of our tropical cyclone names because 4 names were retired, and those were Harvey, Irma, Maria, and Nate, retired back from 2017. These lists basically are recycled every 6 years, and we do reuse the names normally every 6 years unless we get a catastrophic system with that name. And of course, Harvey was catastrophic right here in the Houston area with all of that tremendous rainfall. Irma, Maria, and Nate, of course, are retired as well. So here are the new names: Harold, Idalia, Margot, and Nigel. So we'll have to wait and see if we get to those. Most likely we will. We are expecting a decent number of name systems, at least about 12 to 17 most likely for this season. So we'll have to wait and see what we get, and we'll have to wait and see if we get any headed our way. Of course, we are less than 24 hours away from the kickoff of hurricane season. It begins tomorrow on June 1st. And notice for June, July, through the beginning of August, not a ton of activity historically. Usually the peak of hurricane season really is going to be around September 10th, September 11th. That's when we really start to see things heat up normally. But usually August, September, and the very beginning of October usually means a lot of activity out in the tropics, but we'll have to wait and see if any of these systems head our way. For now, we are safe. We're doing great. I don't think that system in the Eastern Gulf will do anything for our weather as far as bringing us any significant bad weather, but it is going to be a problem for Florida, so we'll be monitoring it closely, and of course we'll monitor any additional development out there. But don't forget to download our Fox 26 weather app. Of course, you can check out the tropical weather update there, forecast cones, our follow me feature, and we've got hurricane watches and warnings if and when they do pop up. You can get those alerts as well. So make sure to head to the App Store, search for Fox 26, and download our Fox 26 weather app. Thank you for joining me for our tropical weather update for today. We'll be doing this every day during the hurricane season. Of course, if we get a system headed closer to us, of course, we'll start doing it multiple times a day. So just keep it here. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.